Hello, sports fans. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Inside Titan Sports. My name's Eric Kohler, and as always, thanks for joining us. Later in the show, we'll do a sports roundup with our very own Michael Parsons, and we'll talk to the red-hot shooting women's team later in the show. But first, let's talk with the nationally ranked men's basketball team. Please welcome back to the show the head coach, Jeremy Shulman. Hey, Coach.
Hey, Eric. Thanks for having me on the show. And I want to say happy birthday. I think it was your birthday earlier this week.
Yeah, I appreciate
happy
that.
birthday. Happy birthday.
I really appreciate that. I tell you what, congratulations, man. 24-3 on the year. Big win this past Saturday. You paid them back. Two of the losses this year were to Central Florida, and you went on the road, and you took care of business. Talk about that big win.
That's the first thing I can say about it. I was able to really breathe and exhale for the first time after that win. Our conference is unbelievable this year in the Mid-Florida, and if you look at there's 8 teams in the entire state that have 17 or more wins. Wow. 4 of those 8 teams are from the Mid-Florida Conference, and so it's been such a gauntlet. And you know, every game obviously matters so much in our league, and to have to go on the road at Central Florida, where Coach Ryan does an unbelievable job coaching. They're one of the best teams in the country, and for us to get a little bit of payback and to win, especially in the fashion that we did, could take a deep breath.
I like it. Well, I'll tell you what, the last 2 wins have been over 20-plus win teams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys are peaking at the right time to get that big win. That's got to breathe some confidence back into you.
It does. I think you're right. We are starting to. I don't think we're peaking yet, but I think we're on the upward trajectory for the first time in quite a while. And we've shortened our rotation a little bit, and obviously I'm very blessed with really good basketball players, and we're just doing the best we can to get the most out of our players and to get the most out of the team going forward. And the guys are just really, really dialed in and focused right now. So we're going to do the best we can to keep that up. Obviously, we've got 3 really tough conference games still remaining, and we're going to do what we can.
We'll talk about some of those special players. Jalen Warren has had a great year. Talk about Jalen.
I don't think we have enough time.
We'll give it a shot.
So Jalen is, Jalen is one of my favorite recruits that I had signed in the past few years. Every class you love all the guys you sign, but there was something special about Jalen because he was very young. He was 17 years old as a freshman, and now he's 18, but he was 17 years old as a freshman. He's got braces. Looks like he weighs about 110 pounds, and he's a kid that wasn't highly recruited out of high school, and there was something about him that we just thought that he could be, for everything aligned, he could be a key for us on our march towards some of our lofty goals we've got. And so he's starting to get it. And he flirted with a triple-double against Central Florida.
Impressive.
And Central Florida's got a couple of great point guards themselves. And Jalen had 12 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. And just, when I broke down the film afterward, I mean, Eric is unbelievable. I mean, his feel, he's just making plays all over the court. I mean, he can shoot it, he can pass it, he can rebound it, he can defend it. And that's the biggest thing. We put him with the challenge of guarding Van Turner, leading scorer for Central Florida, who's obviously killed us in the first 2 games against them. And he just locked down Van Turner and did a great job. So I could go on, but there's other great players that we got to talk about. So
we'll talk about that, Shulman. What about Michael Nuga? Talk about pure athleticism. The guy's fun to watch.
Oh, what an outstanding player. Whoever gets him next year is going to have an absolute gem. Mike is a sophomore, of course, for us from Toronto, and just incredibly explosive player. But what makes him such a great player is how coachable he is. I mean, his work ethic. I mean, he texted me last night at like 11 o'clock at night, and he was just leaving the gym again.
That's really
neat. He's a gym rat. His work ethic's unbelievable. And again, 23 big-time points. I think 17 were in the first half against Central Florida, and just an outstanding player.
What about Silas Adhiki? He's a great story. What about Silas?
Si's a transfer, a Division I transfer, redshirted last year, and he's a kid that's played center all of his life. And with us, we believe so much in developing players and developing all-around skill, no matter what size of position you are. And of course, that's one reason that Silas wanted to come here. So, of course, now Si is one of our best 3-point shooters. So, Si made some big-time plays. He's had, both games last week. He had 16 points in both games. At Central Florida, he had 16 points, 12 rebounds. Just made some really, really big-time plays. And just another guy who's just unbelievably dialed in and focused and very, very coachable. And it showed first half in the Santa Fe game last week where he didn't play so well, and I made sure he heard it and knew it. And he really, listened and responded with 16 points all in the second half against Santa Fe.
With that being said, the Santa Fe game, I got to watch some of that game. When does the jacket officially come off for Coach Shulman? I've always wanted to ask you that.
So apparently there's like side betting going on in the stands.
Yes, there is.
On at what point in the
I
game
overheard
Yeah,
this.
yes. So my goal is to keep it on as long as I possibly can keep it on. And so my wife was, who's actually the real boss. That's who keeps me in line. So my wife was joking with me that a couple times during the Santa Fe game, I had that jacket off. It was coming off, put it back on. A couple other times, put it back on. So finally, I had to be on a defensive breakdown. That jacket came off, and it was, so someone made some money in the stands.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's something I've always been curious about. Now, the fact of the matter is, another thing is, you have such a deep team. I've noticed sometimes you do like a line change where 4 or 5 guys come in and check in and go back onto the floor. I mean, that's a lot of mouths to feed. How do you manage that, so many players and being such a deep team?
It really is a blessing. And first, I got to thank Coach Carr and Dr. Ritchie for allowing us the opportunity we've got here that we can bring in such talented players.
Right.
A couple of years ago, we weren't talking about a deep team. We were just we had some great teams, but 5, 6 years ago, we couldn't recruit the depth of talent that we needed. So obviously, Dr. Ritchie and Coach Carr have done an unbelievable job setting us up in the program so we can get more talented players in. And so with those guys, it's a blessing having so much depth. So if one guy's having, I think Ahmed Ali only had 9 points against Central Florida.
Right.
And it's just next guy up. But it's not always easy. We've talked about in the show before, having so much depth, it's been tough at times to keep everyone fed.
Right.
And after the last home game against Central Florida, where we now have started our winning streak, we made some changes and said, it is what it is. I've got to coach the way I want to coach. And we're going to have to limit the rotation a little bit, and that means some talented players aren't playing or aren't playing much, or some aren't even playing at all. But they understand. They've been great teammates because they know at this point in the year it's whatever we can do to help the team and whatever we can do to move forward with Eastern Florida.
Well, what's so special about your team? I've noticed if I got involved here at Eastern Florida, such a family involvement. This Saturday marks not only a big game, sophomore day. Talk about the guys and how you send them off, because you're such part of their lives, and that's a big day for these young men.
Well, first and foremost, it's gonna be really emotional because we've got 8 sophomores that are walking for sophomore day, and 2 of them are sitting out this year, and then 6 of them are playing this year. And those guys are it's unbelievable the contributions they've made. To the family, to Eastern Florida, not just basketball, but in the college in general over the last 2 years. Getting to a national championship game last year, have us top 10 in the country this year, hopefully with some lofty goals that we can meet this year. But having that as their last home game Saturday is going to be very bittersweet because those guys, from Ahmed to Mike Nuga, who you talked about, Shaq Carter, Eli Abayev. The transfers in Ezekiel Balogun and Silas Edhiki, and then the 2 they're sitting out in Diesel Seville and Khalil Solomon. And it's going to be really hard saying bye to those guys, but it's amazing the imprint that they've left in Eastern Florida will stay this way for a long time. People years from now will remember what they've done in the program.
Well, it's a good day. When are they going to be there? What time Saturday?
So 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock Saturday, Titan Fieldhouse, Melbourne, Florida, right there on Wickham, free admission. It's final home game. Let's pack the gym. Let's have an unbelievable crowd out there, and let's have a lot of fun doing it.
Coach, it's always a pleasure. Love your energy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's Coach Jeremy Shulman. We'll take a short break, talk women's hoops. Stick around. This is Inside Titan Sports.
Create the career of your dreams with a degree from Eastern Florida State College. Earn a bachelor's degree, associate's degree, or college certificate in growing job fields like healthcare, business, and computer technology. On campus or online, you can find inspiration and success. Anything's possible where Titans rise. Eastern Florida State College.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back to Inside Titan Sports. Exciting time to talk about women's hoops. Please welcome back to the show Assistant Coach Stephanie Schaefer and the hot shooter, Mariah Batz. Hey, ladies, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks. It's great to be here. And happy belated birthday, too.
Hey, wow, this is pretty cool. You guys are making me blush in the show. I'm going to have to get some of those Kleenexes that Rob helps us, our executive
Yeah,
producer.
he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Nevertheless, hey, listen, big win on Monday.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there was any lights for me to get out of the stadium because I couldn't see my way out because you shot them all out. Mariah Batz,
We
7
tried.
3-pointers.
Yep.
Wow.
A lot of the shots that we had were all made by Brianna Lewis. I think she's just amazing point guard to have. And it wasn't just me. It's helpful to have Ange hitting her shots too.
I mean, Angie hit 7 3-pointers as well, but Stephanie, I mean, Brianna Lewis, she is the facilitator, like the Energizer Bunny. She runs around, sets it up, the defense collapses on them, and then kicks it out to open Mariah or Angie, and all of a sudden, boom, these ladies set their feet and make them, they're like the Splash Sisters.
Oh, yeah. And you can't say enough about Breezy and her work ethic. I mean,
Right.
she's just, like you said, the little Energizer Bunny that keeps going and going. And she often plays 39 or every single second of a game, and she never gets tired, you know. And MJ's always clapping, "You're not tired?" And she's like, "You're right, coach, I'm not tired." But the passes she finds and the way she distributes the ball, I mean, I was looking at her last 4 conference games, and she had 44 assists to 5 turnovers.
That's amazing.
So she's just really been sharp on her assist-to-turnover ratio, and I think she just makes it fun for everyone because she gets everyone involved.
Now, Mariah, I mean, again, I know you put a lot of time in to be the best shooter you can be, but the fact of the matter is, you really got a quick shoot. You shoot it out there, you catch and shoot. You get rid of the ball like fast. How did you work on that technique?
Well, that's been something that I've had to develop the last 2 years. I feel like this year I definitely can get my shot off faster, but I have to get my shot off faster this year because they know I'm a shooter, so they're
Right.
gonna play more up on me. So it's important for me to get it off quick.
I mean, I think that's even better to know that you know that people are going to start focus on you as a
Yeah.
shooter. But I mean, I saw that, I got to do that TV game, and I tell you what, you really had great technique, and then all of a sudden now, Angie, she didn't have really a lot of points all season, Coach, and now all of a sudden Worley comes in, 7 3-pointers. She had 5 on Saturday. What's the secret of Worley? All of a sudden the Splash Sisters coming on board.
Yeah, it's been fun to see the Splash Sisters fully in sync. And Ange is a kid that I saw play at Boone High School in Orlando,
Okay.
recruiting her, and I knew that's in her wheelhouse. And so she's had flashes of great games and great shooting games, but I think having her start the last few conference games has really pumped up her confidence as well, and we believe in her, and I think she knows that she has the full team support, and so she's just dialing in at the right time, and it's been fun to see that inside-outside game really come alive for us.
Yeah, I tell you what, that high-low really works out well too. The light turned on.
Oh, yeah.
What about Claire Beatty? She made a couple big-time free throws, Mariah, against Florida Southwestern. That was a big win the previous Wednesday. Claire's really come on and been an explosive player and really a role player as well.
Yeah, it's been important to have her. She's just really scrappy. She makes us better in practice every day. And yeah, those free throws were huge. And I mean, sometimes she gets down on herself if she doesn't make her free throws, but that was the best time for her to make them. So it was awesome.
Now talk about Alex, Coach, down low. Alex, she's really getting that post presence. And I mean, she's really making her name for herself at this level. And she's starting to score some points. She's like the double-double machine.
Oh, yeah. Alex is such a special individual. It's her birthday week as well,
Yes.
so happy birthday to our dear Alex. But, you know, she's just such a special kid off the court. She works really hard in the classroom. You know, English isn't her first language, so she has to put in extra time and extra effort to make that all happen and see her academic goals reached. And she just puts in so much extra time to work on her footwork inside, and she's really done a good job of every team we face, they want to double, triple team Alex. And so we've really honed in on what does it look like for her when she can be a distributor and then go repost so she can get her shot opportunities as well.
Talk about Victoria Morales. MJ
Yeah.
Baker, the head coach, obviously says she's the glue
She's the glue.
of women's Titans basketball. I mean, how does Vic take known as the glue?
Oh, I don't know. Vic, it doesn't really show on the stat line,
Right.
but she's definitely a huge part of our starting 5 and just our team in general. She's always on the boards. She's getting her hands on everything. So it's really important to have her. She's a really special player.
Now, Steph, to that point is everyone seems to buy in this year. Everyone seems to next lady up, next player up. Everybody's buying into the role to contribute. When the light turns on, they're ready to roll. What's the secret this season?
Well, that's been a big thing MJ's talked about, is whenever your number's called, you have to be ready to go. And I've really enjoyed, before we play every game, MJ always has a story for the girls or some sort of illustration or analogy. And some two that have really popped out to me lately is we've talked about the number 212, which is the temperature to boil water. So if you're at 211, you just have hot water. But if you get to 212, you really have something special. You can throw your pasta and you get to make some mac and cheese with that. So we've talked a lot about what does it look like to play 212 for 4 quarters, because I know there's been a few games where we've maybe had 2 or 3 212 type quarters. So we're really trying to put together 4 quarters of 212. And she's also talked about how geese fly and the formation of that and how they rotate leaders. And so kind of that rotation, what you were saying, who's ready to step up. And the crazy thing about geese is if one falls ill, 2 drop down to go help it. So we've really talked about, okay, what does it look like to play hard, to have that 212 boiling point, and to also be the 2 teammates that fall, pick the geese as we're calling ourselves, and fly together. And I think we're really seeing that as we hone in on conference. I think that was very true of our FSW win. We really had to fly together and pick each other up because it was a gritty win.
I tell you what, that's a great story for our viewers out there, for me personally too, because you can see it as this year, it's next lady up. It's been very, very special. Something special I noticed a couple of games that I've called. The number 4 in your warm-ups. Talk about that. Stephanie, obviously you were part of it last year. We lost Coach Grimes. MJ Baker was a great hire by Coach Carr, and he's really kept that spirit alive. But I've noticed those warm-ups. Talk about the story and the relevance of number 4 first, Coach.
Yeah, it's been really special to have the opportunity to just work for 2 amazing head coaches at Eastern Florida. I learned so much from Coach Grimes, and his friendship meant the world to me. And I had heard and seen MJ coach since she was a former coach at Broward College, and just knew that she was high class. And like you said, she was a great hire by Coach Carr. And it's been cool to see MJ really want to honor Coach Grimes, because she really loved everything he stood for. He loved ball. He was a great man of faith and loved his family. And so MJ's really done a good job of trying to figure out, how can we honor him? And something she really loved that Coach Grimes stood for was the Titan 4. And that's playing tough, hard, smart, and together. So we had ordered shooting shirts to have that 4 on the back, as well as the Grimes shirt and a Batman symbol, because he was all about Batman. So that's been really special to see her really honor and lift him up. And it's been special to see the girls just really play hard this year too. I mean, the sophomore night we're going to have here next Wednesday, that's going to be really special because it's just been a special group of kids. They've gone through a lot and a lot of adversity, and they continue to shine. Well,
I think it's a great story. Real quick, in closing, big game this Saturday, Florida Southwestern.
Yes, sir.
You took them down. What do you got to do to take them down this time, Mariah?
We got to do the same thing we did when we played them the last time. The big thing is shutting down number 1 and number 14, which are their best players. And also just dig in on the other players. We got to get the ball to Alex. We got to have good ball movement. We got to play together. And the Titan 4, like she said.
I like it. Hey, Mariah.
Thank you.
Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.
Eric, thanks
Coach,
for having us. Appreciate it.
keep doing great things out there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll take a short break and do a sports roundup with Michael Parsons. Stay right there. This is Inside Titan Sports.
Create the career of your dreams with a degree from Eastern Florida State College. Earn a bachelor's degree, associate's degree, or college certificate in growing job fields like healthcare, business, and computer technology. On campus or online, you can find inspiration and success. Anything's possible where Titans rise. Eastern Florida State College.
Hey fans, welcome back to our final segment of Inside Titan Sports. It's time to do a sports roundup with none other than their very own Michael Parsons. Hey Mike, how are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, it's been a fun a fun week and lots of games, and I have a lot to look up to because these first 2 segments were really cool.
I'll tell you what, talk about baseball. Baseball's off to a great start. Give us update in Coach Tam on how the baseball team's doing.
Yeah, definitely had a really great win against Lake Sumter on Sunday. They were down early, and Dylan Espinal, he's been hitting the ball really well, and he just turned on one and hit it out in the water, out and over left field wall, and got us going. And we ended up coming back and winning 7-6. J.P. Williams had a great outing. He came in out of the bullpen. He's usually kind of the closer for us.
Right.
And went to him earlier than usual, and he shut the door and really kept us in the game, and we got rolling. And Kevin Silva, freshman center fielder, really quick kid, he lays down a perfect bunt that scores the winning run, and it's just good baseball. So it was really fun to watch, and a good win for the guys as they head into a busy week.
Baseball at the gate now. What were some of the goals and expectations for this team? You said they had a lot of good arms. Now you're starting to see they have some games under their belt. Where do you think this team can go this spring?
Yeah, this team can be every bit as good as any he's had, really, because of the pitching staff. The pitching staff's really starting to round out and really starting to see some roles, and we're starting to see, what this team could be. But what's encouraging is guys like Dylan Espinal that's really starting to hit the ball well.
Right.
And Kevin Silva as a freshman, the freshmen always have that little adjustment period, and so you start to see these guys and what they can do, and it's really been fun to watch. And they start conference next week, so it's going to be fun to see how they start doing. They have a big series next weekend against Miami-Dade, and they're always really tough in the conference, and so it's going to be fun to get conference season rolling.
Well, let's talk about keep it on the diamond. Let's talk about softball for the Titans. How's the new coach doing?
New coach is doing well. We're off to a little bit of a rocky start, but they've played some really good teams. So
Right.
And it's a brand new team, and so we've got pitching starting to get settled in, and that's the key in softball. Once you get that pitching rolling, everything else seems to fall into place. And so he's got a big weekend ahead of him as well. Saturday he's got a doubleheader, and then he comes back with another big doubleheader on Tuesday against Manatee Sarasota, who's one of the better teams in the region.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, too, he knows how to build a program, and he started really with only 4 players.
Yeah.
So it's going to take some time for them to all kind of mesh together.
And that's exactly what we're seeing. It's a brand new team coming together, and a lot of different girls from different places, and they're starting to find their way. And we're starting to see what they can be, though, and that's a good thing to see. And the ones that are back are really leading the way. Mary Waldron has had a good couple last weeks. Gabby Orland is really a solid player for him, and so Jordan Lawless, both pitching and hitting, she kind of does it all for him. So it's good to have that group back, but at the same time, he has so many new ones that are starting to find their way. Nikki Pennington's really hitting the ball well. Hannah Crumblish is leading off and playing really well. So it's really good to see just the mix coming together.
Well, let's hit it over to the links and drive over and talk with Jamie Howell. How's the golf teams doing for the men's and the women's?
Golf team did really well in their first tournament. They finished second in the Titan Invitational.
Nice.
And they were just a few strokes off, but Kaiser University is a really good team. And up and down the line, they really shot well and had a great week. But Frazier Davrin and Beck Fox, who's a freshman, really came on strong in the last 2 rounds and got us right back, into contention. And it was fun. It was a fun final round, as it usually is. And Suntree is a beautiful place to play, and the guys had a good final round and tried to catch up, but just fell a little short. But it's a good first test, and they head this weekend now to Alabama for a spring invitational that will have mostly all the region teams will be there, so we'll really get a feel for how we're going to stack up in the region as we make another run into the national tournament.
Let's talk some tennis. Bobby Cashman. They're off to their spring start with tennis. How's that going?
Definitely. We're just getting into their conference, kind of regional. They've played a bunch of Division II teams early, so he's got them, really working hard and trying to find their footing and playing some really good teams. Berries and those kind of teams are really stacked. And so, we open this weekend against Broward. That's a huge game for us, huge match for us, 1 o'clock at Saturday afternoon. So it's going to be a good test to see how the ladies can do.
Well, women's and men's basketball, we had them on the show earlier. They both have their sophomore days coming up. Set up the men's sophomore day. When's that going to take place?
Yeah, it's really funny to see that, we're already here.
Yeah.
As long
been fast.
as basketball season is, you're like, wow, it's already sophomore day. You start talking about postseason and that kind of thing now, and it's sad to see that, it's going to be the last game for Ahmed Ali at Titan Fieldhouse, and Shaq Carter and Eli Abev, and those guys that have really, done so much on that court.
Right.
But Saturday at 2 o'clock, we're going to honor them. Probably after the game, we'll probably honor them after the game, and because there's 8 of them, so it's going to take a while.
It'll take a while.
But it should be a good game against Florida State College at Jacksonville.
That's right.
So it'll be a good game to come out and watch, and then honor the guys afterwards.
And what about the women's side? When do we honor the women's sophomore?
Yeah, the women's is shaping up to be a great night of basketball as well,
is.
because St. Petersburg is a must-win game for them. No matter what they do against Florida Southwestern, they still would have to beat St. Petersburg in order to lock up that conference title. So, it's going to be a big night next Wednesday night. So it's a 6 o'clock game, I believe. It's 6 o'clock tip-off, and then right afterwards we'll honor the sophomores. And like they were saying, that's really a special group as well. And Mariah Batz is one of those special ones.
Tell you what, it's been a special spring, but always enjoy the Sports Roundup with Michael Parsons.
Definitely.
Nice job. That's all the time we have for this week's Inside Titan Sports. Remember, catch us at the same time each and every week. Check us out online at www.efsctitans.com. For our producer, Rob Landers, Michael Parsons, my name's Eric Kohler. Until next time, Eastern Florida, where Titans rise.